Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Dragon Network. Today we're going to be doing something very different from the norm. That's because there's no TCG content at all in this video, and it's also going to be nothing musical based either, which is normally what I upload when it's not TCG based. But no, instead what we're going to be talking about is art, because I was going through my closet trying to clean shit out because it's spring, and I came across one of my old art books, and this thing has to be well over 10 years old now. And that's because I liked to draw a lot when I was a kid, and even now, I still like to draw. In fact, I just recently finished this a couple days ago because I was bored, and I was like, oh, you know what, fuck it. I got my iPhone on me, I'll just take a look at the black and white Fralligator sprite that's on Bulbapedia, which was like this big on the screen, and I blew it up to this size and just freehanded it. This took about 20 minutes to do altogether. It's not the greatest. I mean, there's things wrong. I know I got his hands wrong, and I couldn't even fit his full tail on screen, on paper, but you get the general idea. I like to draw, so I just figured I'd look through this, see what's in here, because I don't remember what's in here at all, and I just give you guys my thoughts on just how some of this stuff is, and I just figured, you know what, let's do something a little different, because, frankly, Yu-Gi-Oh!, I'm kind of, waiting on some stuff to happen before I put up a new video, more videos, so I just figured I'd be a little more artsy and talk about my creative side. Also, power to the left-handed people, because apparently we're really good at drawing and such. Anyway, so let's get on to this. I should make a note, though, that it's very likely that there's going to be, more or less one of two things in here. Original stuff and Mega Man stuff, because I was very big on writing original and fan fiction during, the 2000s to early 2000s. I was RPing on a board for Mega Man, Battle Network, and no, not even Battle Network, it was just Mega Man X. So whenever I wrote or I did something like that, I always drew stuff to help as a visual aid, to get a better idea of how characters would look, how settings would look. So yeah, there was more or less going to be original stuff in here, original fantasy, and then fan stuff in here. So yeah, let's just go over this and we'll see what's in here. Again, I have no idea what's in here, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing what's in here and my thoughts. Huh. Okay. I'm going to assume that this was a battle. It looks like it was for one of my writing projects, as I see a razored shield with a crescent on it. I know that was for one of my characters. This guy's got a shotgun, and they're DBZ fighting, because I was watching DBZ at that time. I was like, you know what, I want to try doing those fight scenes. Yeah. As you can tell, a lot of circular blocks. The way I always drew was I would draw circles and shapes to help figure out how big I want a person to be, and try and detail it out from there. Oh look, Mega Man. Looks like I was trying to draw the Gaia armor and Falcon armor for Mega Man X5. Let's try and get the camera in here a little bit, because this angle does not do it justice. You know, that's actually not that bad for back then. In fact, I dare say, the Falcon armor helmet, that's actually pretty good. I'm rather happy with how that turned out. Oh hey, Mega Man X again. I think I was trying to draw this based on his box art from somewhere. Yeah. That arm was definitely challenging, and I've never really been that great at getting buster angles like this. That's also something I've never really been that good at, is how to get the leg. I'm trying to do this type of pose. This was always challenging. Another big challenge for me was hands. I could never get fingers and fists done right at good angles. So that's why I always did a lot of front profile things like this. But yeah, I can definitely do better than this. Oh, I know what this is. This is again for original fantasy stuff I was working on. This was one of the main characters, the heroine. Her name was Shell Synchron. She was someone who could fight fisticuffs, but she wore bladed gauntlets. So basically her punches would slash. And she commanded lightning and was just overall very defensive. That would be her with armor. This without. I think she's trying to do a spiral uppercut here. But again, I was just never that good. And women were always difficult to draw because of their different proportions than that of a guy. It just really is. Like, here's my attempt at like trying to break it down into circles. What was I trying to do there? Arms a little long there. Being guitars. Being overly cheeky here. Yeah, this one's at least 10 years old. And this would be the male Crow Ravenwing. He was the lead character of 2 of my English projects, which involved write a story for class. Write a story and hand it in. I'm like, okay. I was really big on Final Fantasy and fantasy-themed RPGs. I also just started reading Dragonlance and books of that ilk, so I wrote a fantasy story in that kind of style, and this was the guy. He was like the typical, he was heavily influenced by JRPG protagonists, so he was dark and moody, antisocial, and like the love interest here would be like, oh, you know, you're a douche, but for some reason I still like you. And it still made more sense than half of the bad fanfictions I've seen on fanfiction.net. No bragging, it's just straight up truth. Like, some of those stories are just really terrible in terms of trying to throw 2 people together that have like no relation or anything. But yeah, he wielded the katana and he wielded a gun. In fact, he's the guy on the very first page, if I remember correctly. Yep, that's him right there, as circles. So this was a finished sketch of him. I was trying to draw how he would do his katana slashes. Pretty sure that's Crow again. Instead, I'm just trying to draw him shooting around with his gun. Okay, next one. Crow again. Like, I drew this guy a lot because I was trying to like get his look down. Black trench coat, hovering. He also would cast ice and earth and water magic. Yeah, he looks a little like me because yeah, he was heavily based on me. Oh hey, here's a familiar guy. It's Obelisk the Green Slayer. This is definitely one of my earlier pictures of him. Like, wow, this is really old. Thing about Obelisk that I've mentioned before, like he was always a Mega Man character first. So yeah, I made him in the X series, and what I gave him as his little niche was he had the ability to change armor forms, much like the Strike Gundam, the Impulse Gundam, but more or less it was based on the Liger Zero from Zoid's New Century Zero. I really liked that concept of being able to switch up attack abilities in a fight, so I gave him these 3 forms. Osiris Obelisk? I named it that at first? This was the high-flying mobile form. Raiden Obelisk. This was the close combat form. And Ares Obelisk, the heavily armored ranged form. Like, look at the firepower on this thing. That's a head cannon, shoulder cannons, arm busters with cannons on each one, and leg missiles. I know I eventually renamed these things because this is supposed to be called Falchion, this is supposed to be called Myrmidon, and this is supposed to be called Onslaught. And this one was white, this one was red, and this one was blue. Red and blue were direct references to Mega Man X and Zero, respectively. Red for the melee guy, blue for the ranged guy. Crow again. And this was my attempt at drawing him more dragon-like, because this guy has always been like related to dragons. And this was my attempt at drawing his eyes underneath the sunglasses. Ooh. Actually, that eye style has not really changed since. This would be them again. This is actually from a chapter I wrote in the stories, where they go into an ice temple to find magic berries to save a sick girl, and then an ice golem attacks them. Shut up! It was like 10 years ago. I could probably write a more feasible reason for that now, but I liked the idea of an ice dungeon, so I just rolled with it. Crow fighting again. Like, there's a lot of him in here. There's that ice golem they were fighting. I actually had a lot of fun writing out the fight itself, since it was basically 2 people trying to attack a giant monster made out of ice. Ultimately, it came down to Crow shooting it in the knees and Shell punching it out because she could punch ice golems. Mega Man X in Ultimate Armor. This was me trying to draw it based on the sprite. So, and look at that. It's Red Eyes Black Dragon. Oh man, I still can't get that guy down right. But yeah, there's Red Eyes. So I knew there'd be a Yu-Gi-Oh picture in here at some point. Drawing some swords for the characters to use. I believe this is for the rival character, actually. I was trying to get his sword down. I heavily based it on the Bigoron sword. Trying to draw my own dragon, called the Millennium Dragon. Yeah, never got anywhere with that. I drew a lot of stuff, but never finished it. This is me trying to draw, I guess, a wizard with a bow and arrow. Or is that crow with a bow and arrow? No, it was a wizard. Yeah, I can see the distinct black mage in the background with Sephiroth bangs. I don't know why I gave him those bangs, because I fucking hate Sephiroth. Man, this video's going on very long. Ooh, what's this? I think this was for an actual project I had to do, where we had to draw like a banner for something. What does it say? You will fall down and hit the dust in life, but you will only truly fail if you choose to remain in the dust. The strong will rise up and make their failure a success. Huh. Yeah, I remember definitely using that for something. And it finishes off with some blankness. So I never actually finished using this. Huh. And that concludes this video. Again, it's something very different from the norm, but I figure why the hell not? After all, I like to draw, and I know I'm not the only person on here who does like to draw, so I figure I'd just share with you guys some of my stuff while just reminiscing over them and just talking about, well, art in general, really. If you like to draw, by all means, comment them below and talk about your own experiences while drawing and such forth. And for the people who want to see more of this stuff but don't want to wait for the next video, because trust me, there will be more videos. I've got a lot of artwork that's just sitting around that I'll be more than happy to look over, reminisce upon, and even just explain some of my thought processes while trying to make them, if I can remember them. Some of the stuff I'm not going to be able to remember because, let's face it, I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I was like 10. So, yeah, there'll be that. But anyway, for the people who want to see more stuff but don't want to wait, then I'll link to my DeviantArt account. It's somewhat updated, but it's more or less just like where I will... It's like a huge album of things I've worked on over the years. And I'll also link to my Fiction Press account, which also has stuff that I've been working on for at least a decade now. Oh, man. Good times with those. That all being said, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay frosty.